one last look at what our house looks like before the storm. Hopefully when it's all over we'll come back and we'll have no damage. No, the windows are not boarded up. There's a long story behind that I don't want to get into right now. Moved into this a week ago, and today we're preparing to go somewhere else and hope we actually have this when we come back on Monday. Can't really tell, well, I can now, but it looks like the wind is already starting to pick up on Saturday afternoon at about 2:30. We're not expected to see the storm until, Sunday night, but this day started off really calm.
I'm done.
And the wind is already started picking up. So at about 5 o'clock on Saturday, the skies are turning ominous. I don't know if this is actually part of the system. I don't think it is. I think this may just be something else coming through, but it unquestionably is a sign of things to come. 7:50 p.m. on Saturday as we are about to finally make our last move away from the house to shelter. You can see it's actually a pretty picturesque sunset across the way. In 24 hours, the skies will be raging with fury and anger, but hopefully not too much anger on our house. Summer, your thoughts on what's going on?
I actually don't want to die.
You do or don't?
Both.
She doesn't want to die.
I just want the house to be gone when we get back.
Ditto. One last look at the street before we go to shelter. Hopefully we'll be back on Monday and everything will be fine. It's now 1:46 on Sunday. We're not very far away from getting the outer bands to come here into Bradenton. Told that we're going to have to keep all the exterior doors closed once it gets bad enough, so I'm not sure how much video I'll be able to get through the windows. I'm going to try keep documenting this. Just about 24 hours away from being able to assess the damage and see what we're up against. Hopefully it won't be too bad. And as for now, we're just waiting it out and praying that it continues to weaken once it hits land. It's now 3 p.m. on Sunday. Still no bad weather here in East Bradenton. The winds are a bit more sustained than they were earlier, but the worst of it is still obviously yet to come. You can see the top of that tree over the house starting to move pretty good. And it's going to more sustained winds as opposed to the gusts we had earlier, although there's a pretty good gust. Good news is the eye has made landfall just a little bit ago at Marco Island, which is about 150 miles south of us, that it has dropped to a Category 3. So as long as it stays over land, hopefully it'll continue to weaken. It's about 4:30 now on Sunday. Not a whole lot of change since 3 o'clock. We've been waiting for a while for the worst part to get here and see the gusts kicking up right now, but this has not been a steady, sustained wind at this point. According to the radar, the worst part of the northern part of the storm, or the bad part, however you describe it, is in Sarasota now, which is just south of us. So we're just sitting here waiting for us to start getting into the red and yellow bands of the storm. The eye, and a little bit of good news, hit land at a Category 3 about 150 miles south of us and seems to be tracking more north and staying off the water, so that should be good news for us. Hopefully it will continue to lose some of its steam as it works its way up towards the Sarasota, Bradenton area. Storm surge is still going to be really bad. It doesn't affect us at home, but it will affect campus at Eckerd College pretty significantly, most likely, and also have some problems with flooding at the gym where Tammy works. So aftermath is still the big question mark right now. But we're just waiting it out and expecting the worst part of the storm to get here pretty soon. 5:30 now, we are experiencing pretty heavy bands right now, but it shouldn't last very long. Good news continues though. It's down to a Category 2 and projected to be a Category 1 by the time it gets to Tampa. Still maybe a week too by the time it gets to us, since we're about 30 miles or so south of Tampa. But like Kevin Cronin's saying in the 70s, we're riding the storm out. 7:15 update. Winds continue to blow, but now they're more sustained than they have been at this type of power. And it's only going to get worse for the next, I think, 6 or 7 hours we're expected to get the worst of it. A lot of different reports as to how much wind we're going to get. Now here we go. This is the real stuff. About 7:30 on Sunday, and now it's here.
And where do people living all the way there?
Getting poured out today.
As soon as I turn the video on, it quit gusting so hard. It's 10:30 in the morning, a Monday morning, the morning after Irma, and I cannot begin to describe how lucky we got. Curfew was lifted this morning, got to come back to the house. No damage, just had a little bit of water in through the front door that was easily cleaned up off the tile. The only thing we don't have right now is power, but honestly, who cares at this point? There's been a little bit of tree damage in the area. There've been some branches down, but that's pretty much it. The biggest problem in Bradenton right now, they say, is widespread power outages. But again, considering that we were looking 24 hours before it hit at a Category 4 making landfall in Sarasota, which is about 15 miles south of where we are, gosh, we got really, really lucky. Try to get some shots of some of the damage around town as we drive back and forth. But we are very lucky, very fortunate, and very blessed that we had very little damage, not just to our place, but also to the whole area in Bradenton, Sarasota. The 7-Eleven on 53rd Street is actually some of the worst damage that I've seen so far. You can see part of the, I guess that's an awning covering up the gas pumps. It's destroyed. And behind the 7-Eleven sign for a bank over there, they lost their sign. The other side of the 7-Eleven sign took some damage as well. There's a better shot. The Bank of the Ozarks sign that's no longer there. I'm not sure how much of this I can get with all the cars going by, but when the power goes out and most places are shut down and you need food, your only option might very well be Taco Bell. And then you'll make a run to the border. Look at that line. Taco Bell's making some money today. So today is Tuesday. A good 24 hours after cleanup it started for the storm, the island's back open. I came out here to check it out to see what kind of damage there has been. It is amazing how minimal it is. No flooding. I really expected all these sand dunes to be blown away and the beach to be flat. Absolutely not. The sand dunes here are still just as gorgeous as ever. Maybe a little higher, actually, with some of the sand blowing up on top of them. A little rough on the water day, but hard to believe that just under 48 hours ago, there were waves 8 to 10 feet, maybe more than that, crashing in on the shore. So fortunate Anna Maria Island didn't get worse than this. Going to go up to the north part and look at the pier. Didn't look like the Bridge Street Pier had any issues at all. I'm going to go up to the north part of the island and take a look at the city pier here in just a minute. Obviously a lot of seaweed on the shore and rolling in. I don't know how well you can see it out there. But my goodness. From what we thought this was going to look like to what it looks like now, completely different. So glad that it survived. So glad that our island here is completely, basically intact. This is Coquina Key on the south part of Anna Maria Island. The whole parking lot is closed. It's a huge parking lot. There are tons of branches down. There's a big tree that was blown over right across one of the driveways. Driving from north to south on it, my goodness, it took a lot of damage. As far as trees down, doesn't look like structurally anything has happened. There's a lot of trees down. That's what I'm noticing along the island. A lot of these pine trees really took a beating and have fallen down. Speaking of that, I know yesterday, I believe I had said that there wasn't a whole lot of damage around town. There really wasn't. There was a lot of trees falling though, and I know that impacted people by falling on their roofs and fences. We had some friends who had a piece of a pine tree fall on their roof and put a hole in it. So there are people having to deal with a whole lot more than we are, which again makes me realize how lucky and how blessed we are to basically have gotten out of this with no damage. So out at the city pier, the restaurant at the end of the pier did have a portion of the roof blown off. But other than that, the pier's still standing and it's actually still passable. It's closed, but there's some workers from the city pier restaurant hauling stuff up, so apparently the walkway itself actually had no damage done to it. Unbelievable. Still just unbelievable. One more look at the beauty of Anna Maria Island before we go back home and get some work done. It's hard to find any words other than unbelievable and amazing to describe how I feel about it after all this was basically supposed to be washed away. I mean, the sand dunes are still in place. Water is beautiful. All the structures on the island are standing in one piece for the most part. I didn't see any buildings that were destroyed. I actually didn't even see any roofs that had damage from trees or debris. And it is really hard, even though I write for a living and find words for a living, it's really hard to come up with something right now off the cuff other than amazing and unbelievable that this all survived. We're very thankful and fortunate to have dodged the worst of it. Don't know how, but we did. So hopefully Jose will stay away and not hit anything to just go up the Atlantic and fizzle out. Because we've had enough hurricanes, I believe, in the United States for a year or two, or